Welcome back, Ascension family. Excited, we're almost at the end of chapter 2 of my online audio book of The Chosen One. If you are new to my channel, like, share, and subscribe so you can receive the notifications. The Chosen One is my second book, and in this second chapter are all stories about my past life healings. I recommend that you just sit and close your eyes and just allow the words and light frequency to wash over you, to transmit the healing and messages to your higher self. This story is titled Robbed of Life. David was an only child to business couple Dan and Millie, who were farmers and traveling salespeople. They were from Arizona and would make a living delivering and selling their produce to towns. They would work the land to grow crops, then make bread flour, jarred honey, wine, and even lollies. It was like a convenience store in a wagon. They would travel across partial areas of desert and mountain ranges. It was quite tough terrain to get to some of the towns, but having been brought up in this lifestyle, it was natural and acceptable to them. Dan's parents did the same when he was a boy, so he knew this very well. They earned enough to ensure the next year's crops and supplies and have a little to sustain their life as well. David was excited because he was able to join them on his particular road trip for the first time. He had always had to stay with Grandma, but as Dan said, this boy's old enough now, we'll teach him as my daddy taught me, in his southern accent. This trip, unfortunately, was to be their last. Approximately halfway to their destination, Dan, Millie, and the young David were swooped upon the outlaws, who'd happened to be well-known fugitives. They were wanted for various train robberies and a series of murders. These harsh men had no mercy. They robbed the family, murdered Dan and Millie, all in front of this poor young boy. David prayed with all his might. He was crying as he listened to the fugitives, arguing over what they were to do with him. He's seen too much. Shall we spare him? No, on and on they argued while David sat on his knees, hands tied behind his back. If he makes it across the desert with his hands tied, well, then he's a pretty determined little fella. Ha, let's go, come on. And they rode away on their horses. David was surviving on adrenaline, and somehow he managed to mount a horse still by his side from his father's destroyed wagon. He had to grip the trunk of the horse with his short legs, but managed to secure himself enough. The sun had already set, and he thought, how will he find my way? I don't want to sit here looking at my dead parents. I have to try. I will leave here. If I die, I die. The exhausted boy fell asleep, tipped forward over the horse, who just continued on as if he was guided by an outside force. The horse appeared to know exactly the path back to the ranch. It was nightfall the next day when David's limp body rode back through the gates of the ranch where he lived. Grandma looked out the window and saw him slumped over the horse. She yelled to Grandpa, help, help, oh God. She rushed to him, blood-stained and barely conscious. She got him down. David was still alive, and his grandma cried with relief and dismay. She still knew nothing of the fate of her dear son and his wife. David lay in a bed, unable to speak and still in shock. Finally, after 3 days, he was strong enough to tell of his horrifying story. The sheriff was called and an investigation was started. David never fully recovered. He had no desire to live and go on. He stopped playing and he stopped caring. He communicated only with animals, having lost all faith in people. He didn't trust anyone except for his grandparents. He knew they too were going to die and he would be left all alone. David didn't live long in this life. He was shot and killed at age 22 in a saloon bar fight. God, thank you for healing and soul recovery of this lifetime. Amen. In the description below are all links to services and products. If you'd like to subscribe, There is a wonderful anxiety meditation that I have online for everyone. And there's also amazing services and products. And if you'd like to join my weekly meditation groups, please visit my website, theascensioncenter.com.au, to join our Wednesday night evenings till our next final story of chapter 2. God bless. Namaste.